Hey everybody, it's Dr. Melinda Freckleton with Firestar Veterinary Services, and I'm hiding here in the shade. I am trying to avoid the heat like everybody else is today. It is, I don't have to tell you, it's just stinko hot, miserable, and as much as we humans are not having fun with this, the horses aren't either. A lot of people don't realize that horses are less well heat adapted than people are. So since we're small, we can dissipate heat comparatively easy compared to the mass of a horse. If you heat the center of something small, like say a hot dog, and you take that to the same temperature as something much bigger, say a meatloaf, and then you put them both out to cool into the same temperature air, then you know that hot dog's going to cool off much faster than a meatloaf, right? Well, that's the situation with us and our horses. We're the hot dogs, they're the meatloaf. They don't cool off as quickly as we do. Horses can sweat, which really helps them compared to, say, dogs that can't, but they still have a lot of trouble with the heat. They would like much colder temperatures than many humans would if they got to set the thermostat. They would keep it colder than most of us would. So it's important to remember that on during heat waves like this, on really hot days. So you should be able to identify signs of heat stress in your horse. And some of those are an increased respiratory rate. So if your horse looks like they're panting like a dog, if they're breathing through their mouth, you've got really big trouble. If they are not sweating, but they should be, that's called anhidrosis, and that also can be really serious in weather like this. If they just aren't recovering the way you expect them to, or they look like they've exercised when they actually haven't, you've got trouble. So ways to prevent this include making sure that your horse has plenty of fresh, cool water. Clean, cool water. So if you haven't checked your horse's water buckets and tank at least twice today, not just once but twice, please, as soon as we're done talking, get yourself out to the water tank and double check it. If your horses have been out in the sun without shelter today, then you definitely need to go take a look at them. They need to have shade, ideally in a situation where every little passing breeze can get to them, or shade with a fan. Those things can really help. The moving air can really help. If you found your horse may be already in trouble, the first two things you want to do is take their temperature. So if you don't already know how to do that, then we'll do a future Facebook Live on that. Then give your vet a call. And take a respiratory rate. So that's just as easy as watching those flaring nostrils, or more difficult, the movement of the belly up and down. Your pro tip here is to stand behind your horse near the hip bone, looking forward, to see that the easiest, and count the breaths per minute. You can either do that for 15 seconds and multiply by 4, or if you're really anti-math, you can stand there for a whole minute and count. If your horse has an elevated temperature over 102 on a day like today, would be elevated, or if their respiratory rate is over, say, 20 or 24 and not coming back down, then you need to talk to the veterinarian. If they've exercised at all, and by at all I really mean at all, on a day like this, and either of those things are true, then you could cold hose, scrape, and wait a few minutes and try again. Make sure the trend is in the right direction. You probably will have to hose and repeat. The scraping is mainly so that you can get fresh, cool water back onto them again most easily. There was a recent study showing that scraping isn't completely necessary, and that is true to a degree, but you do want to get the warm water off of them on an extreme day like this and add new cold water. You also can use literal ice water. If you took your horse's temperature and it's, say, 103, 104, or even higher, then please get real ice water and scrape them. Behind me you see my friend Don. He's wearing a fly sheet. He's only just gone out for the evening, and part of the reason I'm standing here is to make sure that Don is calm and quiet and doesn't get any heat stress tonight in his fly sheet. But most horses tonight should probably be naked. So really think hard about their normal turnout attire. Very few horses should be all bundled up like he is. He is both fit and he has good reasons for being in that. So, this is Dr. Melinda Freckleton from Firestar Veterinary Service, wishing you and your horse a happy, healthy, hot weekend. And hopefully this weather will soon break and we'll all be back to normal. If you have heat concerns though, talk to your veterinarian. Don't wait too long. Thanks so much.